What's going on, guys? We're going to make a Skybird here next. This is a piece of genuine mahogany and the template next to it. I purchased this piece of wood from Owl Hardwood and Lumber in Lombard, Illinois here. It's a nice wide 20-inch piece. Don't see these widths all that often. In fact, I had a tough time even cutting it on my bandsaw. This is my Laguna 16 HD. And I run out of shop space with this huge piece. I run out of shop space. I am not set up to work pretty much past 48 inches on most of my tools. So we're going to cut the neck blank out here. And after I used this saw, for some reason, it disappeared. We're then going to run this through my WoodTech 25-inch drum sander. And we're going to get this level. Got a little bit of ridges from being rough sawn, so we'll run this through about 4 or 5 times, get each side nice and clean. Should do a long-term review on this tool. I've had it for years. It is really the centerpiece of my shop. From there, we're going to start with our center line, which you all know is the most important line of the guitar. Screw my template down. It's lifting just slightly. Haven't done one of these in a while, so we'll screw down on the bottom. We'll screw around at the neck. And then we're not going to put one in the headstock because we don't want to have the screw go too far. So then we're going to cut this off on my Craftsman 10-inch bandsaw. This is in the basement. Lots of twists and curves on this. Really had trouble cutting it at this length. But once you get to this point, you're pretty close to having something that resembles a guitar. From there, we're going to take this back upstairs to the Craftsman table router. I've got a nice 2-inch bit on this thing. And we make a couple adjustments here and there, making sure that the bit is sitting right on the wood. So I keep adjusting it because for some reason it's like lowering itself. You can see how much struggle I had with that length. Where they're going to mark off the body and retransfer some of the final measurements onto the side. Here we're going to do an interesting construction technique. We're going to put a 2-degree angle where the body is going to go, and then we're going to have a neck through with a tilted back body. You don't see that. It's a very unique construction technique. That's where I'm going to have to sand along the top of the wings so that I get it flat. So we're going to put our truss rod in here and do some maple strips to reinforce the neck. Usually when you're using a piece of wood this big, you want to add some reinforcements to it. Sometimes I use carbon fiber, sometimes I use maple. Today I'm going to use some maple strips along with the truss rod. This neck will not move then. Even when I did the initial setup, did not need to adjust the truss rod. So this is the CNC rails I built, which helped me do a straight line, quick and repeatable. The maple strips are 1/4-inch maple that we're going to put in here. This mahogany is nice and soft, so the router bit does not jump around at all. Just a slow back and forth, lowering the bit about a 1/16 or less each time. That way you get no chatter. You can see how nice that's done. A little bit of wood glue. There's the maple strip number 1. There's the maple strip number 2. We're going to then clamp these down. Make sure you have enough glue. So putting a piece of tape on a board so it doesn't stick. And then we'll just clamp this down and let it sit for 24 hours. From there, we're going to peel back the headstock just slightly. So this is about a 13-degree angle. We're going to freehand cut it. And then we're going to make a jig. And I did a video on this a couple months ago, I think. And we're going to do 13.5 degrees. We're going to build a jig just to clean up the face of the headstock. So here I'm measuring this out exactly to cut that. Adding some double stick tape. Now I've got something that is repeatable across some of the other guitars that I'll do. I've got the double stick tape on 2 pieces. I'm going to freehand cut based on my measurements. I'm going to run it once through the joiner, nice and flat. Sand it just to make sure it's level. And then we're going to take about a 64th with each pass here. Just slowly clean it up. And now I've got a flat gluing surface to put a veneer over it. These are nice tools to have when you're doing your builds. That way you can repeat this later on. From there, we're going to cut the backside on the Craftsman 10-inch bandsaw. Just a rough cut, just to remove some of the material. And we'll remove the material off the back of the neck. Lifts it up to get it under the body. And then here is the fine cut on the Laguna, which really leaves me with a clean cut that all I have to do is just sand it off. Then we're going to freehand cut the 2-degree angle for the body. So I'd drawn that line earlier. And we're going to make a little bit of a jig here, 2-degree jig. And we're going to come back and use the pin router and just clean up very slightly where the saw marks are. So this gives me a flat surface then. That pin router is the most valuable tool in my shop, I think. It allows me to do so many different things with some jigs. Once that top part is cleaned up, we're going to put a backing board and cut the body at that same angle. So now I've got a flat surface with a neck angle. And then we're going to make the wings here that are going to glue to the sides. So this is the other piece of the genuine mahogany. Resaw it to shape. Put an edge on it so we can glue it up. Run it through the sander so it's nice and flat. Then we're going to glue this up with some Jorgensen cabinet clamps. A little bit of wood glue. Clamp it up. Clamp on the top to make sure it's parallel. And then we'll go back to the bandsaw and cut up the sides. Again, having a tough time maneuvering this beast in the shop. Take it upstairs to the table router once more. What's nice about routing mahogany is that it just goes. Usually you don't have to worry about tear out or anything grabbing it and running. A little bit of sanding to prep the back. We're going to put a piece of wood on the back, and that's going to add just a little bit of thickness for the body, a little bit of more meat. Before we do that, we're going to add a control route for the wiring. Gonna place this piece of wood. I think this is like a 3/8 piece of mahogany that we add to the back. Screw down where it's gonna go, add a little bit of glue. Spread it out here. Got the screws to hold it in place. And we'll take this over to the wine press clamp and let it sit, let it dry. And then we'll trim the back of the body so that it's all flush. And now we've got a guitar. Going to run the router through the control cavity, do the inside first, leave about 1/4 inch so we can just easily drill through. We'll switch out routers, switch out templates, and route the outside of the control cavity. This has just got a 1/4 inch top bearing bit. We'll take that down just enough. Gonna go with a veneer on the top. Thought we were gonna go with a interesting stain technique that I posted that we ended up did not like. But we're gonna add some glue, clamp this down, let it dry. Trim it before we route it. So I've got my Colt router and a bottom bearing bit. We don't want this to tear out. All cleaned up. Going to take this to the rigid oscillating spindle sander, and then next up we will make the fretboard. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you